everything. To kind of give a random update for those of you who care. If not, you feel free to skip. Today, I made a really dumb mistake yesterday. I, for some reason, thought that because yesterday was, for those of you who don't know, pre-release for Innistrad Remastered. I didn't actually play in the pre-release. Like I heard that it's going to be a draft instead of a sealed event for those of you who are interested in going sometime today or tonight. But just wanted to let you all know in case. Let me scoot this up a little bit. There we go. Just in case any of you are interested, like this weekend is pre-release weekend for Innistrad Remastered, and I heard they're doing draft instead of sealed for some reason. I honestly, I'm one of those people that on some days I just only listen to the parts that I'm looking for. I get that at my job with like some of my clients all the time. But anyway, so I ended up not doing that because I go, as you all could probably tell, go to a bunch of stores where they actually do sealed and draft every week, which is kind of fire. So like sometimes when it gets really crowded on pre-release and they're like, oh, the new set's coming out, it just gets kind of like crowded for me. And since I do this anyway, I usually buy a box of the set instead and do an unboxing that night, which I was totally excited. Good day at work, and I was excited to like finish off with I'm going to get a box of the Innistrad Remastered set, and then we're totally going to open the box and see if I get any things like Meat Hook or Emrakul, and trade away the Vampire Commander if I pull that. Some of my friends who might want it because I don't really need it. And then literally every game store I called and went to were like, no, we don't really sell this next week. We're only doing the draft, blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of shocked by that. I was like, oh, because I've been going to those places where they could sell boxes on pre-release weekend. So I was a little bummed, but at the same time, I was like, oh, what do I do now? So I drove home and I was like kind of bummed because I was like, man, I want to get some magic in tonight. I want to get some magic in tonight. And like, I was like, should I just go live and do this? Should I go live and do that? Like, where could I go? And then I realized, oh, maybe, because the other thing I was really excited for is on Fridays, the game store I go to opens until midnight. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, like I could go do the Innistrad whatever and then play Commander, but that wasn't happening. So I was like, maybe I could just go play Commander. And I had a lot of fun with guys there. And the thing I really appreciate about groups like this and a couple of the other groups I've been hanging out with recently is I like how you can openly joke. I like those. Those are kind of like my personal favorite play groups where not only could you play and have fun in Magic, but the ones where also you and all your friends are like joking around as you go. Like these guys were like talking trash, they were joking around, and it was at a place where you're allowed to drink. So like, of course, there was like some jokes about that, and some no jokes here and there, as like a lot of bros do. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. But anyway, with that, I was going to do a demo game today just to kind of like share some tricks or things I like to do in playing Magic. And if enough people get on the live when we get to that point, like maybe give their own opinions or logic in some scenarios if they wanted to. But yeah, so sipping coffee. So the 4 decks I was going to do this demo with today is some of my personal favorites. The first one is a new Whir commander. I may have explained it before, but just sort of a preview. It's Mr. Foxgloves. So the story behind this, for those you don't know, is I didn't know about this commander because I was getting a little... I still like the deck, but it wasn't for me. The Doctor Who pre-con, the 4th Doctor. It was a lot of fun, but it just wasn't running the way that clicked with me. So I was thinking, it's time to think of a new deck in those colors. And I was looking at EDH Rec for recommendations to see if there was a new thing I didn't know about. And next thing you know, I found Mr. Foxglove, which just screamed my name because it's a 3/5 lifelink that when it attacks, draw. If defending player has more cards than you, then draw till you have that many. But if your opponent has less, if the defending player has less cards in their hand than you, then you could actually put a creature from your hand right onto the battlefield. And I'm like, oh my gosh. That's like a less picky, pickier, but not as picky, like kind of like how people build Kaya, where it's like just play a big demon, angel, or dragon for free. And so I thought it'd be a lot of fun to try out. I'm still working on the deck. It's at its early stages, but that's pretty good. The next one is a pretty classic one, Ramos the Dragon Engine, which most of you see and probably think, oh my gosh, I totally know what this is. It's a 6-drop, and it is, because people who just start Magic sometimes don't get, it is technically a 5-color deck, because it does include all the mana symbols at the bottom. So it's technically a 5-color commander. And what it does, whenever you cast a spell, Ramos gets 1/1 counters equal to the amount of colors on it. So obviously, if I were to cast something like this, that's 4 colors, so 4. And once a turn, I could remove 5 of those counters to add 2 of each color to my mana pool. And so that's just sort of a cool trick. So obviously, there's a lot of ramp involved. Not gonna lie, Ramos and all my 4-color decks are definitely more towards my higher power level decks that sometimes on a good day would like go off and be really crazy. Sometimes maybe even be mistaken for CEDH decks, and for some reasons that you might see in a second. And then we got Omnath, which is pretty straightforward. It's a landfall focused deck because for those you don't know, but most of you know Omnath is when it enters draw a card, whenever you play your first land for turn, gain 4 life. Whenever you play your second land for turn, get 1 of each of his colors, basically, so everything but black. And then if you play a third land a turn somehow, then you deal 4 damage to each opponent and the planeswalkers that you control. So obviously there's a lot of landfall synergy involved and all that. And then last but not least, for those you don't know, this was a this of course isn't my own deck. I made it, but this commander was one of the pre-cons of 2016, around the time I first started getting into Magic, because I think I got into Magic like late 2015, like around the time of Battle of Zendikar-ish. And my first pre-con was actually the Saskia, which I, of course, took apart and then re-put back together years later. But this one's the Cascade one, where the goal is to have the commander get some damage in. It has trample, and when it deals damage, all the stuff in your hand get Cascade until end of turn. So, like, basically, you hit someone and then you go off. It also runs a lot of low drops in there, one for ramping, and also just so I could, like, more likely get something to Cascade into without, like, having to worry about casting a spell just to realize I'm not getting anything out of it. So yeah, with that, just to kind of do a demo game. So like, for example, this first part's the slow part. So just draw, oh, not a bad start. So one thing I do like to tell people is, so I'm going to show you this guy's hand because it's pretty good. We got Sol Ring. He just top decked it. This is the promo from Vegas back in, I think it was 2021. And he has some tap lands and stuff. But even though most people would go, oh, Sol Ring. This goes back to, like, it was actually my biggest video. Oh, Sol Ring. That's actually not a good idea right now for 2 reasons. The first idea is because, one, people will look at you right away. They'll kind of be like, oh, you're the guy with the Sol Ring. And so if it's not necessary, it's usually good to hold on to the Sol Ring just so that we don't play it, just have a slow hand anyway. And I'll also show you another reason why I said that in a second, but for now, he's going to play a tapped budget Tri-Land, I call it. It's the Tri-Land without the land types on him. And then, oh, I still have the Kalachi in here. I'm going to be snacking on this Kalachi movie. Oh. So yeah, there's that. After that, Omnath draw. Oh, look, he drew a Sol Ring as well, but his hand is kind of the same thing. So he's just going to go ahead and play a tap land path. Then we'll go on to this player's turn. And he is also just going to play a tap land pass. On to Mr. Foxglove. His hand's pretty straightforward. He's going to keep basic and pass. Oh, he just drew a ley line. That would have been good as opening hand. So now he's going to play Mountain for 1. Wait, hold up. I miscounted. I would wait to play the Sol Ring, because right now he has a lot of good 4-drops in his hand, and until he's going to actually use that Sol Ring, it's not worth getting people all worked up. So he's going to play a tap land pass. So untap and draw. He's going to play a tap land, and this guy actually is going to play the Sol Ring now, because even though he can't do anything now, starting next turn, he could use it to, like, get some lands out to get his commander out faster. Then it goes to the Cascade player, so untap and draw. So we got, he's going to keep it basic with an island. His hand's not so hot, that's okay. He's going to pass. I am glad they reprinted Lab Maniac in this set because it's kind of fun. So now he's going to play an island, and for 2, he's going to play 3 visits. He's going to search for a forest card, and so I'm sure those of you who've been playing well know where this is going to go. He's going to look for his 3-color tri-land that has all the land types on it, and therefore it can count as a forest, plains, or island, but not a basic forest, plains, or islands. But since this card just says search for a forest period, he could go ahead and look for his tri-land. Which, by the way, I'm actually, the next set I'm kind of focusing on for the TCG and also just to have for a while is Dominaria United. But I'm definitely going back to New Capenna after I'm done with that. So yeah, he played the 3 visits. He got his tri-land, and now he's going to pass. So this is for the moment of truth for the Ramos player. He's going to draw. Ooh, pretty. He is going to play a mountain for 1, Sol Ring for 4, Aetherflux Reservoir. And this is, of course, where the table's going to go, oh, he played an Aetherflux Reservoir. We either need to destroy it or go after him so he doesn't reach 50 and takes one of us out. So then draw. He's going to start with, for 4, he's going to play Solemn Simulacrum. And then he's going to play a budget fetch and pass. I think he's going to look for a mountain because of what's in his hand. So let's find that mountain. Where's a mountain? Mountain. Here's a mountain. Yeah, I had such a fun game last night with the guys when I was playing Ian. Like, we were all just like, what? What's happening? And they had a lot of fun with it, which I'm glad. I know some people, when they face cards they don't understand, they're like, I don't like you. I'm going to kill your stuff. It's just kind of funny. So Solemn Sim. Then it's going to pass on to the Cascade player's turn. Draw. Let's see. He's going to play an Opal. Wait, no. Because here's the thing. He doesn't really have a great hand right now, so he's going to play a Temple. Even though it's a tap land, he'll... Yeah, see, bottom. His hand's not doing so hot. Everyone's going awful. He's going slow. Untap, draw. We got... Oh, that's not bad. He's actually going to play a land that doesn't enter tapped, and then he's going to pass. And you'll see why in a second. So, Ramos was like, oh, no one got rid of my Aetherflux. That's cool. Draw. Oh, that's a really good card. He just top deck. Oh, that's a really good card. He just top deck. So he's going to play a land. He's short on a few things he wants, but I think he has enough to do this. So he's going to play, make a white, a blue. Oh, wait, no. Oh, he might not be able to do this because black. Yeah, he needs one more color because we got green. Oh, wait, no, this is right because green, red, black, white. Yeah, he has enough. He's going to cast Leyline of Guild Pact. It's his first spell for turn, so he gets a storm count of 1, so he's going to gain 1 life. And he's doing that because he has a gross card with Aetherflux that he's going to play next turn, so he's going to pass. So now it's going to untap and draw. Perfect draw. So he's going to play Island for turn. For 4, he's going to play Omnath. ETB, draw a card. Crack the budget fetch. I call it that because they're the fetch lands that say enter tapped, but you get to do stuff. So I have so many fetch lands in here. He's going to look for what I like to call a budget dual land. It's the ones that enter tapped that still have the land types on them. Then it's going to enter the battlefield. Now he's going to gain some life, so he's going to go to 4. Now the question is, what is he going to do next? Well, players who've been playing for a while think this is going to be pretty dang obvious, but just kind of enlighten people. He's obviously going to go with the player with the Aether Flux because he could just gain back to life anyway, but the closer he gets to 50, the more likely he could just start killing people. So he's going to go to combat. He's going to go 2 at the Aether Flux player. They don't have anything, so he's going to go back to 39. I'm going to keep the dice here because he's probably going to go crazy in a second. So then, and when it gets to his turn, there is another trick that might be good to show you all in this video. So he's going to play an Opal Palace. He's going to, for 1, play Elvish Mystic. So that way he could do stuff later. And then he's going to pass. And actually something so rude is going to happen in a minute, and I love it. So end of turn, he's going to flash the card from Foundations that say everything gets flashed now. So he's going to draw. He's going to play a land. Now the question is, does he want to attack or should he stay back? Well, I think he's definitely going to want to attack. It's kind of a tricky thing for this player now, because on one hand, the player has Aether Flux, but this other guy has an Omnath out. That was a big drip. So now he's kind of debating, okay, do I go after the Aether Flux player or do I go after that? But at the same time, in my opinion, this is debatable, but in my opinion, I think he doesn't want to get on the Omnath player's bad side right now. So I think for now, he's just going to go to combat and go forward in the air at the Ramos player. The Ramos player is, of course, going to take it, go down to 35, and then pass the turn. So then, this is where a cool trick I'm going to show you guys, and then it's going to be stopped, and I'll explain why in a second. So what this player is going to do is for 2, now all his lands have every basic land type now. So for 2, black, 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 and black, he's going to play Bolas's Citadel. And for those of you who don't know Bolas's Citadel, first, it's a card that says you may look at the top card. You can play that card, but you have to pay life instead of its mana cost, right? Now, the thing about play that some people who play Magic long enough know, but others who don't, is when it says you could play a card versus cast a card. Play a card means, you know, you could play it normally. So, like, for example, if I had a land on the top of my deck, I could play the land. However, that will count as my land for turn. And that's why the first trick I want to explain about Bolas's Citadel is if you have the option, I would say play Bolas's Citadel before playing the land, because if I played a land and then looked at the top card and was like, oh, like, it's a land, I can't do that, then obviously that would suck because you've already played a land for turn. But if I saw it, or even if you didn't, and then you're like, oh, found my land, you could be like, oh, wait, I didn't play a land yet for turn. And then you could kind of play it and see how much deeper you could get with Bolas's Citadel. And that with Aether Flux Reservoir, which says whenever you gain a life, whenever you cast a spell, gain a life, so every time you're paying life to cast a spell, you do that. It does kind of go crazy with a card called Sensei's Top, because you could pay 1 life, play it, gain 1 back, then draw a card, put it back on top, and all that stuff. But for now, this isn't going to work, and I'll explain why in a second. So the Ramos player is going to pay 9 life, go down to 26. They're going to attempt to cast the Ur-Dragon. Normally he'd keep going, but the Cascade player has a trigger. He's going to pay a black and pay an extra to make a green, and he's going to attempt to Assassin's Trophy the Bolas's Citadel. So that way he won't be able to keep going crazy. So the other player is just going to check and see if he has a response to that or not. He's kind of sad that what he had next was kind of a bit crazy. So that resolves. He still gains 1 off of the cast, because the cast still technically happened. He's going to get a basic land, and his Ur-Dragon doesn't have haste, however, so he's just going to pass the turn. Just finishing this. So Assassin's Trophy resolved. That's why people like playing low drops in Commander, because they could low drop removals in Commander, because you can get rid of problems like that. But now there's an Ur-Dragon, so obviously it's like, now we got to deal with the Ur-Dragon. What do we do? So go to turn for 3 mana. And again, with landfall, same trick as the thing I was saying before, because One common thing I get from players who are just starting all the time is they're like, oh, I gotta play my land and then do it, right? It's like, no, you could play your land after you cast spell if you like. That is allowed. So that's why with landfall strategy is normally, if you can, kind of like a Trickable Citadel, play the land first, don't play the land first, wait for the land after you get everything you can out. So for example, for 3, he's going to play Dryad, which means he can now play 2 lands per turn, and now his cards are also every land type. So then he's going to start with his first land per turn. He's going to play a Fabled Passage. Landfall trigger, he's going to gain 4 and go to 48. Then he's going to play a second land for turn. Omnath trigger, he gets 1 of each color. He's going to play a bunch of cards basically. For 4, he's going to play this Fury Ogum, which says each time a creature attacks, you get +1/+1. Whenever land enters battlefield under its control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat phase, untap each creature you control. There's a weird judge thing about this that sometimes happen. There's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all your stuff. So I think the way you have to do it, and I could be wrong, and people will probably say it in the comments, he's going to go to combat. He's going to go 6 at this player. Player's a little salty. He's going to take it. Second main, he's going to crack Fabled Passage. Maybe get a basic land he doesn't have yet, just in case. He's going to get a Plains, trigger. There's an additional combat. Oh, no, he takes a little more for 5 because they get +1 for each time they attacked. Oop. And and final trigger, they're all going to take 4 damage, so he's going to go down to 23. He's going to go down to 36, and he's going to go down to 28. Untap, extra combat, swing, same direction. Now they're... I guess this time he's actually going to have both go here for 10. This guy does have a response. He's going to, for 5, flash in his commander as predicted. He's going to block the Solemn Simulacrum. He's going to take the 6 commander damage, go down to 30. I don't think this guy has a response to the block or him casting, so this is going to die, but off death he gets draw a card. Then proceeding to second main, he's going to, for 1, play an elf. And for 2, he's going to play Thaumatic Compass. The reason why I got hooked on Thaumatic Compass is because my buddy showed me how good it is. Because once he has 7 lands, which he does now, he can flip Thaumatic Compass into a land that says tap, remove something from combat. So basically a maze that could tap for mana, which is kind of cool. So yeah, then it's going to go to the Cascade player's turn. Draw. He's going to pay 1 of each color. He does have to pay an extra, but it will get a counter. Play his commander. So hopefully starting next turn he can do some crazy stuff. Then it's going to move on to this player again. Draw. So this is where it gets tricky because now his opponents have defense and he wants to be able to play his stuff. But I guess he can play Magic the old-fashioned way for now. He's going to play a tap land and then he's going to go ahead and pass. Well, actually, he should probably do this before untaps and attacks. He's actually going to go ahead and Path to Exile the Ur-Dragon just because it's Ur-Dragon. People have a history with Ur-Dragon, and then he's going to, he can flash that in. So, sad face, Ur-Dragon gets exiled. He searches for a basic. Probably look for another piece of the puzzle. He already has a forest. He will get out of swamp this time. So now we'll go to the Ramos player's turn. Untap, draw. Let's see what he's got. How much mana? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He has 8 mana. So I think what he's going to do for now is for 6, he's going to cast his commander. That's the first spell, so he gains 1 life back. Then for 2, he's going to cast Jensen. Second spell, he gains 2, goes to 26, and Ramos is about to get 2 1/1 counters. I'll use a big die because usually that gets up pretty fast. And then he's going to pass. Goes to I'm gonna have player's turn. Forgot to put that in the graveyard. I'm gonna have player's turn. Let's see if he goes crazy or not. Draw. He's probably not gonna attack anyone just because they all have good blockers and stuff. What he will do is for 3 and 1 floating, he's going to play Courser of Kruphix. Reveal it. It's an old-fashioned classic Magic card that not a lot of people play anymore. It's one of those where you could play with the top card revealed, and if it's a land, you can play it as your land for turn, and then gain a life every time you play a land. So then, using the floating and 2 more green, he's going to play this Elder. He's then going to pay 2 mana to sack the Elder, die trigger first, search for 2 basics. 1 basic, 2 basic. They go to his hand. And really, his hand's not super hot right now, so like, he might just hold on to the lands for later, to be honest. Like, his hand's all lands, so now he's just debating, okay, what do I do? Reveal top. Well, at least that's coming. He could go at certain directions, but he's probably not going to. So I think he's going to go to combat. This is a tough call, because this is one of the ones where in the chat you all might give your opinions, because he could either hit the Cascade player, hit the Flash player, or hit the Ramos player. So that's a tough call. I mean, really, none of them might do anything. Then again, like, Ramos is a flyer, so like he's going to go ahead and attack Ramos, and he'll get +1. Ramos is going to just take it and then go down to 19 and pass. So then it will go to this player's turn, draw. And for 5, because again, it's just too hard to hit people right now, he's going to cast the Bounty, Cascade. I run that in a lot of decks in case you can't tell. Ooh, there we go, Rhythm of the Wild. So that cast happens, this comes in, he's going to choose to give this a 1/1 counter. Then he's going to not go to combat and just pass. So on the end step, this guy's going to flash in a card called Unexpected Results. So shuffle the library, reveal the top. If it's a land, put it in play, and this comes back. If it's a non-land card, then basically play it for free. Shuffling. 2, 3, 4. I don't know why I'm counting. 5. Reveal the top. It's a land, so if it's a land, you may put it onto the battlefield and return this to hand. So this will go to the hand and then proceed to his turn. Draw. He's not going to go to combat at all. I mean, he could hit someone, but he wants to kind of stay on the... well, he doesn't want to do this now. He has a trick, but he's going to wait to do it like a flash speed, and I'll explain why in a second. So, untap, draw. He's going to, for 3 and 1 floating, cast Jetmir. A couple triggers. First, this will get 3 counters. And the second one, or 3 triggers, yeah, he'll scry, he'll put it on the bottom, so he doesn't need it now, and it was his first spell, so he gains a life. He's going to attempt to activate Ramos's ability, which gets 2 of every color. This guy has a response. In response to him activating the ability, before he gets that mana, he's going to flash in the Titan Ape. When it enters the battlefield, it's going to fight Ramos. Ramos does die. Well, actually, yeah, because it's, he actually made a misplay. Oh, wait, no, that's right. So he fights Ramos. Well, it's just tiny enough for it to not die. It resolves, though, and he gets 2 of each color. He's going to use 8 of it now to recast Ramos. Because, I mean, his hand's not that great anyway, and he wants his commander out. So he casts Ramos. He has 2 mana remaining, floating. And for that 2 and 2 more, he's going to play War of the Last Alliance. So it's a saga, so like it's a 1-color card, so Ramos will get a counter. We go to chapter 1, and it's really good in decks that go around legendaries. I might need to get another one for my other legendary deck. It just lets me search my library for a legendary creature card and reveal it. So let's see if he has a legendary that could help save him. Oh yeah, because he was going to get it and then shove it. I was like, do I have 2 copies of a card in a deck again? I sometimes do that by mistake. That one's not bad. That's a maybe. Oh, that is likely a yes. Oh, such a tough decision. I think I know what he's going to do. He's going to search for Jodah the Unifier. Jodah the Unifier will go to his hand. And that guy actually did the right play of killing Ramos when he did, because I made him have to use it all up and not go crazy now. And also, he casted a total of 3 spells, so he gains, let me grab his dice, 2 more life back and 3 more life back, so he's actually at 25. He's recovering. So that's pretty much all the mana he has. There's not really any point going to combat, so he's going to pass now. So then it'll go back to this player's turn, untap. Draw, reveal the top. Ooh, that's a good one. For 3, 4, 5, he's going to cast this card, Cascade, for 5. This will come into play. Reveal the top. That's not bad. And he could go to combat, but it doesn't really seem like the smartest thing right now, so he's just going to pass. It's one of those standstills where it's like, you'll want something to happen, but, you know. So, untap and draw. This guy has no land to play. He has 5 mana. So I think for 1, he's definitely going to play another elf. He's going to put a counter on it, thanks to Rhythm of the Wilds. Boop. Then for 4, he's going to play Junk Troller, which I like mainly because it's a Cascade deck, so you're putting him back in the deck. He's going to give the Troller a... He's actually going to give it haste. Or is it haste till end of turn? Your choice. Actually, no, I'm just going to give it a 1 counter. I was thinking of maybe doing a clever idea, but then I'm like, nah, that's not going to work. I'm just going to... Well, it might work, but who knows. Untap. Draw. Interesting. So, does he want to go to combat? He's going to say no and awkwardly pass. This is one of those awkward games where, like, you're just waiting for that other person to get there, and I think Ramos might start getting there this turn. So, untap and draw. Chapter 2, search for another legendary. And I know exactly what legendary he's going to get. He's now going to search for somewhere here, unless he drew it and I forgot to look. He didn't draw it. Okay. He's going to get Atraxa Grand Unifier. And you can imagine why in just a moment. So he's going to do some crazy things. This will go to his hand. First, one of each color. Which I don't even have to look at because of the thing, but it's pretty much that way either way. He's going to cast Jodah the Unifier. Trigger. He's going to gain a life. He's going to get 5. So his commander is currently a 10 plus. And let me see. Legendary creatures are X for X number of legendaries you control. So currently he's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's 15 commander on board. He's going to use the 5 counters to make one of each color. He's going to 2 of each color. He is going to use 7 of it for Atraxa. Well, I'm going to say Soul Ring to say he used 7 of it, so there's, so I floated 12, 7, so there's 1 of each left, let's just say. And so, a bunch of triggers. First, he casted 2 spells. He's going to get 4 counters back. Can't do this part anymore. Oh, and he also got a 4/4 Angel. Let me just grab our end token, because that was one of every color. So he gets a 4/4 Angel, which is relevant to Jetmir. When he casts it, he could Scribe 1. We're going to put that on the bottom. He already gained the life because he cast it. That would be his second spell. Atraxa enters 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait, no. Cascade off of Atraxa until I find a legendary that costs less. It's a Kriege. So that's the third spell. Go to 31. That's 2 counters, so he's going to go up to 6. I'm going to Scribe 1. Top, I guess. Then that's the thing. And so now, anything else, he has 5 floating remaining after. Oh yeah, ATB off Atraxa. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's take a look at what he wants. He's going to take Conflux as the sorcery. He's going to take Vampiric Tutor as the instant. He's going to take this Nexus as his enchantment, and he's going to have this Overlord come in, go to his hand as the creature, and he's going to have a Plains go to his hand as the land. The rest of these will go to the bottom. So these all just go to his hand. And then we got 5 mana floating, 1 of each color. So he's going to go ahead and cast this Nexus, 5 more counters on Ramos. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And also we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures. So they all get +2/+2 as well. So Ramos, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that it's more than enough to kill someone. I think he's just going to knock out. Well, he can't knock out the Omnath player, and this is where politics is going to come in. Because let's say he's like, okay, the Cascade player is the most open, so I'm going to go for the Cascade player. This is one of those, you might as well save the day, because he's doing crazy stuff. So in his defense, the landfall player is going to stop it from combat. And even though it's not attacking him, the reason why he's doing that is because he's clearly the common enemy. So people don't want him to go off next turn. So with that, he ends his turn, and it's going to go on to the Omnath player. Yeah, usually situations like this is when I say it's absolutely necessary to politic. So 4, 6. He's going to cast, however you say this card, Cascade Trigger. Oh, that would have been fun. Scoot Swarm. He's then going to play his first land for turn. A lot of triggers. He's not really going to go to combat at all. But he does want to get the other value. Gain 4 life. Get hard for Aether Flux to kill him. Thing doesn't matter. Gain another life. Draw a card. Get a counter. Let me grab my dice. Grab a counter. And that was on Cascade, so it did see it. So get a second Scoot Swarm. Then he's gonna play his second land for turn. Gain another life, get 4 mana, things that doesn't matter, get 2 more Scoot Swarms. Draw another card. This goes up again. And then reveal the top. For 4, he's going to Explosive Vegetation. Get 2 more basics. Basic. So now 2 more life. You each take 4. Four, 27. Draw 2 cards. 2 more counters. And then first trigger. So I think like at least 12. So maybe grab bigger. Ow! Hit my finger. Grab some bigger dice. So 12. And can't do anything this turn, but he might start going off next turn. He's just going to pass. This game's definitely intense. Untap. Draw. For now, we got 6 mana, so he's going to go 6 for a Tali, and he's going to give it a counter, but first Cascade. He's just going to put that on the bottom. That's unfortunate. Good little counter spell there. Give a Tali a counter. And too much going on, so he's not going to attack and pass. On the end step, though, this guy is going to flash in the east tree, and then he's going to proceed to his turn. Draw. Land. And again, the board's just too gross. He's going to pass. Like, untap. Draw. He's going to, all creatures get double strike until end of turn. So this is when it's going to get really nasty. So the way this player pretty much has it, and I forgot the Cascade. So, yeah, draw for turn. I think this player might get it in a second, because what he's going to do... Oh, sorry. So end of turn, he's going to Vamp Tutor something. 2 life, gain 1, so in a way, boop. And this is how he's going to get it. He's going to look for a Nexus of Fate, which for those of you who don't know is take an extra turn, shuffle this back in. He's going to start by attacking. Obviously, he's going to maze it, and now it's tapped. He's going to get the extra turn, kill him with 1-shot commander damage, and he has a couple search cards to do it again. So that's pretty much how that game goes, because, yeah, he plays Nexus of Fate that says, take an extra turn, this shuffles back in. Combat attack, this guy's going to maze it. Second, go to his next turn, draw, plays Conflux, search again, kill him, and then basically search for other cards that could also do some gross things. That would basically just finish everyone off. So that's pretty much a demo game. It was one of those demo games where everyone was doing crazy things, so it just, and no one was able to stop each other, so it just kind of came down to who got there first, and in this case, it's the Ramos, which having a bunch of mana tends to help with that. But anyway, yeah, so that's sort of a demo video of some cool tricks. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you would have done anything differently, definitely feel free to put that in the comments. And yeah, have a good one, guys.